Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today, we are continuing our 5-year rebuild series here on the YouTube channel. Today, we're doing the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now, Vanderbilt actually had a really good year in football. They upsetted Alabama, who at the time was #1. They made a bowl game this year, first time in it feels like forever. They won a bowl game for the first time in forever, all because of the quarterback, Dago Pavia, who the New Mexico State transferred to Vanderbilt this past season. He had a really good year. Of course, Vanderbilt has some other contributors on their team. It wasn't just because of Diego Pavia, or maybe it was. Vanderbilt fans, comment down below. Anyway, we have 5 years here to win Vanderbilt a national title, so let's go do it. But right now, Vanderbilt is an 82 overall, 82 on offense, 82 defense. They run the spread and the base 4-3. So let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is Vanderbilt roster. There he is, the man of the hour, Diego Pavia. Dude, I think he has eligibility for this upcoming year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the NCAA gave him a waiver eligibility or something. He won a case with the NCAA. He might be playing for another 4 years maybe because of the NCAA ruling. I don't know the whole much about the ruling because I forgot. But we have Diego Pavia for 1 year. Very fun player. He was very fun to watch. I'm excited to see if what he does play this year and what Vandy does. Vandy has a really good transfer portal. Nate Johnson, the Utah transfer. We got Jeremy St. whoever from Montreal International. I have no clue who he is. Cedric Alexander. He was a beast this past year. Also, AJ Newberry. Excited to have them. We have 2 fullbacks there. I don't know a whole lot about these receivers, but this Lukey fella, 95 senior, and then this 97 Jeremiah and Micah Bell, 97 speed receivers. That's nice. Man, maybe we should have done Vanderbilt for the Coach K dynasty, huh? Stowers, 90 overall tight end. Did he get drafted this past year? I don't know. We have Gunnar Harrison. We have Grayson Morgan. We have 2 senior left guards. Center, we have Cade McConnell. We have Stephen Hubbard. We have Chase Mitchell. So our O-line looking a little weak there. Linus Zunk. We have Miles Capers. I don't know a whole much about these D tackles. Mason Carter, the freshman, left out. We have a lot of middle linebacker center, junior. Prince Conley, senior, but he has quick jump. I mean, Martell Height, he's a sophomore, 83. That's not bad. Corners are looking a little weak. We do have 2 freshmen in Lackey and Williamson Jr. Deontay Carter. He is a 79. He's a freshman, though. It's going to be tough if I redshirt him, but I probably will because we want him here for 5 years. Overall, this roster, I don't know what to think of it. I'm surprised on how they made a bowl game, but we're in the SEC. It's going to be tough. We got to recruit, so let's get going. Zach Eze, committed. Demetrius Nagy, committed. George Schooley, committed. Leonard Niswanger, committed. Glazon, committed. Dean Reddick, committed. Hasim Membu, committed. Chester Wiley's, committed. Jimmy Fleer, committed. Markelly Cherlielius, committed. Noah Scully, committed. Deshaun Azuri, commits. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 Heisman Trophy winners, Dylan Gabriel, quarterback of the Oregon Ducks. He had 3,942 yards, 42 tutties, and 8 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the Alma Bowl, taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Ladies and gentlemen, we fall 23-15. Damn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 1 stats. Dago Pavia, 2,950 yards, 254, 424, for 254 from 424, 27 tutties, 7 picks, 59% completion percentage. Damn, he kind of sucked in this rebuild. I don't know. Alexander, 159 for 803, 2 tutties. Pavia, 104 for 459, 1 tutty. Newberry, please don't transfer, 42 for 193 tutties. Hoskins, 21 for 92, 3 tutties. Jones, 5 for 20. Gillespie, 5 for 7. Receiving, Skinner Jr., 75 for 988, 8 tutties. Junior, 56 for 657 for 5 tutties. Richie, 43 for 534 for 7 tutties. Stowers, 24 for 313, 4 tutties. Lukey, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce his name. 12 for 143, 1 tutty. Alexander, 20 for 136, 1 tutty. Newberry, 15 for 111, 1 tutty. Chase, 3 for 31. Cole, 5 for 30. Gabe Fisher, 1 for 7. How about the defense here? 72 tackles for Patterson. Height with 66. CJ Taylor, 60-58 for Rondon. 52 for Tyson Russell. Miles, 44. Ante Thomas, 40. Tackles for loss, 7 for Miles. Brandon with 3, along with Bradley and Prince, and Linson and Zaylen. 2 for Colby Taylor and whatever this guy's name is, and whatever this guy's name. It's like almost midnight. I can't pronounce names. Bryce, this guy, and Devin Lee with 1 sack, 6.5 for that guy. Miles with 3, same with Patterson. Bradley with 2.5, 2 for Linus Zunk. Prince with 1 interceptions. We had 5 by C.J. Taylor, 1 by Colby Taylor, Martell Height, and Tyson Russell with 1. Disappointing year in year 1, but let's fight for year 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here in the year 1 natty, Penn State, Oregon, Big Ten battle. Penn State finally wins the big one. They win the national title 38-17. Gareth Throne committed. John Okororo committed. Andre Office committed. John Dog commits. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the 36th best class in the nation, but as you can see, all these other SEC schools had really good classes. We had the 3rd worst recruiting class. Mississippi State also had a good class. We had every team with 15 out of the 16 teams had top 50 recruiting class. Man, it's going to be a challenge, but hey, we got a good start. Let's do something here in year 2. Jeremy Boyce committed. Tim Shipman committed. Shaquem Sturgis committed. Jameson County committed. And Tony Marks committed. Robert Harper committed. Carter Wren committed. Ladies and gentlemen, the #1 recruit in the nation, Roy Brown, is coming to Vanderbilt. Let's go. Miguel Lorenzen committed. Nathan Kilroy committed. Jerron Beal commits. Blair Fowler committed. Billy Coxer committed. Jamie Abraham committed. Devontae Buck commits. Robert Wayne committed. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2025 Heisman Trophy winner is Cade Klubnik, quarterback of Clemson. He had 4,360 yards, 44 tutties, and 4 picks. We did not make a bowl game? No fucking way. We went 7-5. We don't make a bowl game? What the fuck? Well, I'm beyond shocked how we don't make a bowl game. Anyway, here are the year 2 stats. Nate Johnson, 3,054 yards, 218 for 333, 26 studies, 11 picks, 65% completion percentage. Rushing, Alexander, 142 for 950, 7 tutties. Nate Johnson, 97 for 339, 2 tutties. A.J. Newberry, 50 for 155, 8 tutties. Bryson Coleman, 13 for 21, 1 tutty. Chaz, 2 for 3, receiving. Dylan, 66 for 974, 8 tutties. Junior, 46 for 956, 7 tutties. Bryce, 42 for 561, 3 tutties. Cole, 14 for 201, 2 tutties. Joseph, 12 for 122, 3 tutties. AJ Newberry, 8 for 79, 1 tutty. Cameron Johnson, 13 for 71. Shedrick Alexander, 13 for 69, 2 tutties. Markel Charius, 2 for 14. Gabe Fisher, 2 for 7. All right, defense. Patterson, 88 tackles, 54 for Barry. Williamson Jr. with 54, 53 for Height. Coward with 51. Randon, 48, 46 for Bumbakar. Dante Carter, 45. Tackles for loss, 10 for Bumbakar. Landon Langaston with 6 along with this guy. Linus with 4, 3 for Nagy. Thomas with 2, 1 for Barry, Height, Man, Simon, and Brian. Sacks, 7 for Bumbakar, 4.5 for Nagy. Man with 4, 3.5 for this guy. Thomas with 2, 1.5 for Linus. Brian with 1.5, 1 for Cowan and Carter. Half sack for Patterson and Height. Interceptions, 3 for Height and Barry. 2 for Patterson and Randon. 1 for Cowan and Williamson Jr. We should have made a bowl game, but let's go in year 3 and try to win the SEC or something. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Penn State goes back to back. This time they pull off a 1-point victory to Clemson, 28-27. Clinton Richard committed. Tay Meadows committed. Harper Holloman committed. Tree Bobablade committed. Chandler Strong commits. Parker Jordan committed. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the 9th best class here in the SEC. That's the 5th best in the SEC. Got a good class. Let's have a great year here in year 3. George Beeler committed. Joshua DeMarco committed. Mitchell Poosley committed. Lindell DeBose committed. Adonia Sandridge committed. Tyquan Brown committed. Jose Morales commits. Martin Branson committed. Johnny Whittaker committed. Victor T. Jada committed. Jabari Omena committed. Ryan Thielen committed. Al Dunham committed. Easton Kitchings committed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2026 Heisman Trophy winner is John Maytier, quarterback of Washington State. He had 3,519 yards, 41 tutties, and 1 pick. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the Real Quest Bowl, taking on the Purdue Boilermakers. And ladies and gentlemen, we are the Real Quest Bowl champions of the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the year 3 stats. Roy Brown, please don't transfer. He had 3,135 yards, 223 for 343, 31 tutties, 718 interceptions, 65% completion percentage. Again, please, please, please don't transfer. Here we go. Shedrick Alexander in his final year, 148 for 902, 7 tutties. Brown, 117 for 444, 43, excuse me, 1 tutty. Sammy, 51 for 171 tutty. Markel, 17 for 46. Simon, 4 for 8 for 2 tutties. How about the receiving? Junior, 51 for 889, 8 tutties. John, 55 for 832, 7 tutties. Markel, 58 for 817, 12 tutties. Joseph McVeigh, 10 for 181 tutty. Bryce Coleman, 23 for 163, 2 tutties. Cedric Alexander, 14 for 147. Sammy, 5 for 48, 1 tutty. Jimmy, 2 for 29. Johnson, 2 for 24. Simon, 1 for 6. How about the defense now? 72 tackles for height. Dante Carter with 66. Again, please don't transfer. Blair with 64. Rondon with 58. 51 for that guy. 50 for Alvin Williamson Jr. 49 for Jalen Lackey. Tate with 47. 45 for Mason Carter. Tackles lost this guy with 7 along with Mason Carter. 6 for Nagy and Simon and Holloman. 3 for Blair, Lackey, and Thomas. 2 for Carter, Hamby. 1 for Alvin Williamson Jr. Sacks 7 by this guy, 3 by Simon. Blair with 2.5, 1.5 by Harper Holloman. Nagy with 1, same with Thomas and Leonard. Half sack for Mason Carter and Dante Carter. Interception 7 by Height. Dante Carter with 2. Tate with 2. 1 by Alvin Williamson Jr. and Randon. So that's the year for stats. We had a really good year. We won a bowl game. Can we maybe win the SEC here in year 4? All right, ladies and gentlemen, here in year number 3, Washington State goes a perfect 16-0 to win the national title. They win over the Miami Hurricanes, 34-28. Brandon Nicholson committed. John Olgon Lee commits. Dylan Hipp commits. Matthew Williams committed. Trey Vernette committed. Khalil Tate commits. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the 6th best class in the nation here in year 3. That's the 3rd best in the SEC behind Georgia and Alabama. We got 1 more year to recruit, so let's do it. Cornell Wells committed. Brian Pujade committed. Bernard Talbot committed. Jabu Ajayi committed. Tavarius Valdor committed. Quincy Adiajani commits. Maurice Ragno committed. Ladarius Kuma committed. Caleb Dilger committed. Larry Charles committed. We did Ladarius Kuma, right? Rashad Buchella commits. Jason Lemons committed. DeAndre LaRue committed. Joey Adai committed. And ladies and gentlemen, your 2027 Heisman Trophy winner is Trevante Lutman, quarterback of Alabama. He had 3,804 yards, 47 tutties, and 3 picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we had a really good year. We were 10-2, and that gets us the Texas Bowl, taking on Iowa State. And ladies and gentlemen, we falter 28-17 in the Texas Bowl. All right, here are the year 4 stats. Roy Brown, 3,158 yards, 236 for 343, 35 tutties, 9 picks, 68% completion percentage. Rushing, Mitchell, 170 for 778, 5 tutties. Roy Brown, 134, 565, 2 tutties. Sammy, 55 for 338, 7 tutties. Tristan Brown, 11 for 82 tutties. George, 1 for 26. Miguel, 3 for 5 with a tutty. Tay Meadows, 1 for 2. How about the receiving? Joseph McVeigh, 72 for 1,087 tutties. John, 52 for 778, 8 tutties. Tristan Brown, 39 for 540, 10 tutties. Dylan Hipp, 20 for 207, 3 tutties. Boski Barrett, 12 for 157, 2 tutties. Mitchell, 18 for 134, 2 tutties. George, 5 for 86, 2 for 48 for Jabari. Sammy, 6 for 47. Coleman, 4 for 26. Trey, 2 for 22. Miguel, 2 for 21. Dominic Cheeseman, 2 for 12. How about the defense? 73 tackles for Callan Blair. Brandon Nicholson with 50, along with Zach Easy. Tate Hamby with 49. 48 for Lackey and Clay Zahn. 47 for Simon. Khalil Taylor with 45. 42 for Mason Carter. Tackles lost 7 for Mason Carter and Leonard. Simon with 6. 5 for Nagy. Thomas with 3, Clayson with 2, along with Alvin Williamson Jr. Blair, Nicholson, Aziz, Hamby, Lackey, and Wayne all with 1 sack. Simon with 13.5, 7.5 for Nagy. Mason Carter with 7, 4.5 for Leonard, 2 for Blair, 1.5 for John. Thomas with 1, along with Lackey. Half a sack for Robbie Rain and Khalil Tate. Interception, 6 for Lackey, 3 for Tate, 1 for Blair, Zahn, Williamson Jr., Nicholson, Aziz, and Hamby. Obviously, we should have made the playoff this year, but it is what it is. Gotta get better for year 5. Ladies and gentlemen, Miami gets back to the national title. This time they play Oregon, and they lose 41-17. Josh Ringer committed. Brock English committed. Brock English committed. Mathis Lawrence committed. Ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the 3rd best class in the nation, 2nd in the SEC behind Georgia. If we want to win a national championship, these recruiting classes need to show up. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, year 5, auto recruiting on. Let's get the going. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently 63, but we're ranked 18. As long as we can win out here, there's a shot we can make the playoff, maybe make the SEC title. So let's go. And ladies and gentlemen, we're ranked number 11 again, and we do not make the playoff. Wow, what a shame. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finish ranked 11 again, and we get cucked out of the playoff. I mean, we built a really good squad here at Vanderbilt. Not even making the playoffs. That's sad. I mean, that just shows you how good the SEC is then. Anyway, let's try to end on a positive note. Let's win the Real Quest Bowl. And Joseph McVeigh gets us started. 64-yard touchdown. 7-0 Vandy. Tristan Brown with a 2-yard rush. 14-0 Vandy. All right, we are up 20-7. 3rd down and 14. Illinois showing a little life. Brown hikes it. He's got a man. Brown to Brown. 1st down. 3rd down and 1. If we get this, game over. Here we go. Brown. Gonna hike it. Hits. We're going for this. 4th and 1, we're going to go for it. From the 13, here we go. Brown hikes it. Right there, he's got Mitchell. And that'll be a 1st down timeout, Illinois. And all we're going to do is just take... Hold on, I hit the wrong button. We're going to call it timeout. SEC, indeed. We should have been in the playoff, but we're not. We're going to be Real Quest Bowl champions. We'll take it. 20-7. We should have won by more. We should have been in the playoff. It is what it is. At least we could say we won a bowl game. In the end, I guess. I don't know. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. The SEC is just a tough conference. It is what it is. But we should have made the playoff. It's kind of disappointing. We should have made the playoffs back-to-back years, but it is what it is. This game's kind of fucked up. It is what it is. Anyway, Real Quest Bowl champions. We'll take it, obviously. I mean, I wish we could have done more. This is a really good team we built, but we just couldn't make the playoff. SEC is just a tough conference, I guess. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. If you have enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. You guys motivate me to keep doing this. And with that being said, I want you to have a great day or have a great night, depending on when you watch this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm out.